Hey guys, welcome back to the vlog. Today we are at the front 9 of the mines, but my back 9 for the day. If you haven't already watched my other vlog, which was filmed here in the mines, I'm gonna link it down below for you to watch that. And this is going to be my back 9 for the day. So as I mentioned in the other vlog, this 9 actually has a lot more characters, so I'm very excited to bring you guys through it. And what a beautiful opening hole to start with. This is a par 4, water down the left side and bunkers down the right. But from this tee box and with my driver, I'm able to carry those bunkers pretty easily, so the fairway definitely is not as narrow as it seems for me. Whereas if I weren't able to carry those bunkers, the left side there would definitely be quite a narrow fairway and I might not be hitting a driver. But because I'm able to carry those bunkers, I'm definitely going for the full send with the driver there. So for my second shot, I only had about 90 yards. And this hole is a little bit uphill and the pin is all the way tucked behind today, so even though it was a little bit into the wind, I am definitely just playing the distance because if it were to be a little bit short, it would definitely be better than going over on this back pin, especially since it's back right and there's a big slope going downhill past the pin. So I just hit a full 52-degree wedge there and ended up hitting that really good and just a little bit over, but not too bad, maybe about a 9-footer here for birdie on the first hole. And as you can see, the water is the left side of this hole, so this is a little bit of a quicker putt because everything is going towards the water, and that is a tendency for most golf courses, that if there is water, most of the slopes and the greens would lead towards the water. So as you can see on this second hole, this is a par 5, and again with the water hazard down the left side, everything does slope towards the left, so you definitely want to play more towards the right side of this hole. I'm hitting a driver and aiming out towards one of the distance markers down on the right side, which you can't really see here, but there's definitely a lot of space right, and if you're not confident with your driver, this is not necessarily a driver hole. It's not very long, but it's definitely not a short hole as well. But basically, you do want to make sure that you're somewhere in the fairway, so hit whatever you need to hit, but go out towards the right side.
Did you catch what I said? Oh my god.
Okay, so once you've done that, you can lay up with pretty much anything you want. I am just going with a hybrid here because it was definitely way too far to go for it in 2, so I'm just going to hit it short of those bunkers up there. That's why I'm hitting a hybrid. As you can see as well, I'm a little bit on an uphill slope, so this is definitely going to draw more, and as I said, everything leads towards the water, so you do need to make sure that you are aiming enough towards the right side to make sure that it does not draw too much and go into the water. So even though I know there's bunkers up there, I know that with my hybrid I'm not going to be able to reach it, and that's why that was the club of my choice. So for my third shot, I had 102 yards and the pin was actually tucked left. So again, with the same concept, pin tucked left and water down the left side, you do want to make sure you aim more towards the center of the green because chances are it will still kick left. And after that third shot, I had this putt coming down for birdie. Again, going towards the water, so a little bit more quick. And it is downhill as well, so you do need to make sure that you pay attention to this and make sure that your pace is good. And that was the putt that I had, and what a birdie. Not too bad. So I wanted to show you guys here how much the slopes are actually playing on this hole. You couldn't really see it maybe from the view of my shots, but actually there is a lot of slope, so you do need to make sure that you land it on the right areas. So let's move on to hole 3, which is a par 4. This is a pretty long par 4, so you definitely want to get it on the fairway if you can. There are bunkers down the left side which are in play because there's about, I think, 3 bunkers, or basically enough to cover the entire left side. And there's pretty much nothing down the right side, so you do want to go a little bit more right. But I hit a little bit of a high fade, which was not going to get much distance, and definitely not ideal on a long hole. And I am a little bit in the rough, so I decided to hit a 5-wood instead of a hybrid, which is the usual club that I would hit for this distance. So as you can see, again, the ball is above the feet, so I am anticipating a little bit of a draw. and because of that, do want to aim a little bit more right. And I hit a pretty good 5-wood there from the rough with the lie that I had, but it actually did not roll up like I thought it was going to. Sometimes when you're from the rough, it might or might not roll up depending on the conditions. It is a little bit wet because it was pretty early in the morning still, so that's probably why it did not roll out. But most of the time I feel like if you're in the rough, it will roll out, so don't forget to play for that as well. So I'm just pacing off the amount of steps that I want to, well, basically how far I want to carry the ball and let it roll out. I am hitting a 52-degree wedge here because it is actually a pretty far chip. So I'm just trying to bump it up there. And I thought it was going to break left to right, but it actually did not break at all. So that was quite odd. But again, the water is on the left side of this entire course, so that might be a little bit of the reason why, which I did not notice. And just snuck in that putt for par, so no damage done here. Let's move on to the next hole, and this hole we are actually aiming for the tiger. So that's the tiger over there, and I am going with a driver and just hitting a soft driver because there is a hazard up there in front, which if you were not sure if you're going to reach it, you can definitely hit anything shorter than a driver if you wanted to. It's definitely not a long hole, so a driver is not necessary, but I'm just taking a driver and hitting a little soft fadey one that is going to get me in the center of the fairway. So after that shot, I had 112 yards, and there is water hazard down the left front of the green. So you do want to make sure that you have enough club to carry it, especially if there's wind. So you can see the flag is actually moving quite a bit, and there was a little bit of headwind. But I also did not notice, and I did not take some divot when I was taking a practice swing, which is actually something that could be good for you if you tend to not notice the ground conditions. When you take a practice swing, you should try and take a divot. And I actually did not do that, and I did not notice that the ground there was a little bit wet. So I closed the club face a little bit and went a little bit to the left. But I had this putt for birdie and made a really long putt. So great birdie putt there. Definitely was not really a gimme birdie there. So we'll take one whenever we get one. So let's move on to the next hole, which is a par 3. So this hole is actually playing 157. It was a little bit into the wind, but I think because of the water and the buildings behind, it does seem a lot longer than it is. So it definitely looks like it's playing more than 157. And there is a tendency for when you're hitting over water for the ball to not fly as far. So if it helps, definitely take more club. Don't be afraid to take more club, especially when there's nothing past the pin but hazard in front of the pin. So I'm choosing a good target here and just trying to get it on the green, make sure that I have a good club choice, and make sure that I give myself a putt for birdie if possible, and if not, definitely not leave myself anywhere that's going to get me in trouble on a par 3. And that's what I did. I ended up over the pin, but I kind of knew that was going to happen because I was taking more club. So I had this putt coming back for birdie, and it actually did not break where I wanted it to, where I thought it was going to break. And I actually believe that there is a little bit of a tendency for all the greens here to slope towards the water, which I did not really think about when I was playing. But now that I see the clips, most of the time when I miss it, it's actually because I thought it was going to break a certain way, but it actually did not. And it could be because the water is actually on the opposite side of where I thought it was going to break. But anyway, this is hole 6, the par 4, and this is a pretty short par 4. So it's definitely a reachable par 4, but there is water hazard down the entire right side and a bunker on the left, and a couple bunkers left side of the green. But if you're in a bunker left side of the green, I think you're pretty much good. So definitely aim towards the left side, and whatever it is. Okay, I'm sorry I had to include that, but I thought that was hilarious. So for most of you guys that know me, I'm not really good at throwing. So let me know, guys, what would you rate my throwing there? And I got it to my friend, who was about 40 yards short. So I don't think it was that bad. But anyway, this was the chip that I had. I actually thought it was going to spin, but it did not spin as much as I wanted it to. So it rolled out quite a bit. and gave myself a much longer birdie putt than I should have had from the side of the green. But anyway, a birdie putt is still a birdie putt, so this is my attempt. And it was a really good line, but just left it one roll too short. And again, as I was saying, with the water at the back, when you're putting away from the water, you do need to putt it a little bit harder because it's actually going up versus if you're putting towards the water. So definitely pay some attention to the water if you're playing here at the Mines. But let's move on to the next hole, which is a par 3. So this hole is pretty long for a par 3. And it is completely over water and the pin today is a little bit towards the right side of the green, so definitely want to play towards the center left of this green. You do not want to play with the right side because it is a much longer carry as well towards the right side, and if you did not hit a good shot, chances are you're going in the water, which is not what we want on a par 3. So I hit towards the center of the green, which was a good shot, but just because of that, I definitely have a much longer putt than I want, but it's safe, it's dry, and we're putting for birdie still, so we can't really complain when that is the case, right? So let's just give ourselves the best chance that we can for birdie, and let's see what we can do here. So again, because this was going a bit downhill, I thought it was going to be faster, but it actually was not a very fast putt. But as I mentioned, in the front 9, there are a few holes that are being hollow-tined, so the green is not as smooth as it usually is, and that is probably why. So I left myself with about a 3-footer there for par, and just a little tap-in par there. And let's move on to the next hole, which is a par 5. So if you saw my front 9 vlog, this hole actually looks very similar to hole 17, except that is a par 4. So this is a dogleg right par 5, and you definitely want to go more towards the left side here unless you're very, very sure that you have enough distance to carry all those bunkers, and you do need to make sure that you hit a good shot if you go towards the right side. So I'm just playing it a little bit more safe and going towards the left side of the fairway, and after that I have about 229 yards to the green. But because right in front of the green is a huge slope going downwards, and if you do not carry it 229 yards, chances are you're going to be down in a valley, I decided to go more towards the left side, especially because I'm standing on a down slope. I knew that if I were to miss it, it would definitely be going down that valley. So just playing towards the left side here to be a little bit more safe, and gave myself about a 47-yard shot to the pin, but it was actually a straight shot to the pin. So I'm hitting a 58-degree wedge here. It is in the rough, so definitely need to hit a little bit more, which I did not do. I thought I got pretty good contact with that, but I just didn't reach it. And I think this is definitely a distance that I need to work on because I missed the green twice from that distance today. So I know, guys, there's going to be something that I work more on. So at least I know now, and it's kind of good to notice trends as well in your game so that you can improve. I definitely missed 2 chances for birdie there by missing the green on my third shot with a wedge in hand. But at least it's a safe par and we did not drop a stroke, so we'll take it and move on to the next hole. So this last hole is a par 4 and it's a dogleg right. The fairway is pretty narrow, and if you are not too confident with your driver, you can actually take a shorter club and just make sure that you're short of the bunkers and the rough on the left side and aim more towards the left side. Because as you can see, the fairway does slope towards the right side, so especially if you hit a fade, it is not the easiest hole unless you can trust aiming left and hitting a fade to make sure that you're in the center of the fairway. Because this fairway is not very wide, so definitely do what you feel most comfortable with. After that, I had about 132 yards into the green, but one thing that I didn't really notice or pay attention to is because I am near the water area, this part here is actually a little bit more damp than the rest of the golf course. And while I was about to hit my second shot, there was actually a bug on my ball, and I did not really want to smash the bug right in its head. So here I was trying to get it to go off my ball, but it was just really attracted to my ball apparently. But anyway, I eventually got it out, and well, again, here's my approach to this green. I am hitting a 9-iron. It is a little bit downhill, but you do definitely want to carry enough because It goes down and then the green goes back up, so you do not want to take too much up for the downhill, and make sure you have enough club, especially because the pin is in front. I did have enough club, but because, as I said, it was a little bit wet, I hit it a little bit chunky, so I ended up, well, as you can see, about 9 paces to the front of the green and about 3 or 4 paces to the pin after that. So I'm just hitting a wedge here and making sure. It's important to pace out shots like this so that you know exactly where you need to land the ball, because this kind of shots, if you land it too far or land it too short, is going to make a huge difference with the putt that you're going to have after that. So anyway, this was the chip shot that I had. And let me just say what a beautiful hole this is as well. Look at the clubhouse at the back. I think the view on this back nine is definitely spectacular. Let me know what you think. Do you agree? I know a lot of you guys are going to wish you can play here once you see this vlog, and I'm glad that you think so, because I think it is a beautiful golf course. And I hope you guys enjoyed this vlog and hope to see you guys next time. Thanks for watching and thanks for subscribing.